You know what it is. It's another episode of the D.B.A.B podcast brought to you by your boy Kirton and Cletus. Just the two of us tonight, like Will Smith, baby. Others are preoccupied. Happy Easter to everybody out there. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Hopefully, everybody's had a great day. Um, not only with this Easter Sunday, but also with watching March Madness, the beginning of MLB baseball, all that stuff. We're gonna chime in, and Cleese and I were gonna talk about it. But again, thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can always find the DBAB podcast anywhere podcasts can be found. Where you are on Apple, Spotify, all those other podcasting sites. Also, you can see us in person on YouTube, right? And we are also on the X, aka Twitter, which doesn't really post too much stuff, but it's on there for everybody. If you just want to go follow and get notifications, turn those notifications on, right? Hit the little subscribe button so you can know when these new episodes drop.
I'm about to say we do post when we drop a new episode. That's
Yes,
about
that's
about it right there.
Yeah, I try to. For those of you that don't know, I run it. Okay, I do.
Yeah, you
all
don't
the
have anything
legwork.
else. You don't have anything else to do.
I ain't got
either.
nothing else to do, so I do all the legwork for the show. Everybody else just shows up and talks, and then um, I do all the legwork behind the scenes, uploading all that kind of fun stuff. Also updating that X account, but just to let y'all know when new episodes are dropping. Other than that, I don't really ever touch it because I don't ever really think about it, to be honest. But I do like and retweet what Jack puts out every Tuesday, just to kind of give him, another account to repost it and like it for him, so that can get a little bit seen a little bit more. But anywho, so Cletus, obviously we are in the final stages of March Madness, right? Tonight
Yep.
we'll be finishing up the latter half of the Final Four. Last night we saw Alabama and UConn punch their tickets to the Final Four. Tonight we got North Carolina State versus Duke in a tight game, and Purdue also punched their ticket with a dominant performance by is it Edie? Is that how you
Yeah,
say it? The big tall guy, right? So
the
he
big
dominant.
man.
Yeah, I think he dropped 40. He had double. He dropped 40 today, or whatnot. So this Duke North Carolina State is the last game for somebody to punch their ticket to the Final Four. Um, Real quick, Cletus, overall, what have been your thoughts through March Madness? If you want to break it down from first
Um,
weekend, second weekend, overall. Uh,
here's what I figured out. Just talking like bracket stuff, real quick. You're better off just guessing and just going with your first initial like picks than doing research and changing crap, then doing more
yep.
research and changing other stuff, then doing more research. This is the worst. Me personally, this is the worst I've ever done, and this is
Oh,
the most research I did pre bracket.
mm,
Like the only reason I'm beating someone in our bracket is because that dude didn't fill one out.
yeah. I would.
If if that dude wasn't there, I'm in dead ass last in
I'm
ours
sure. I'm
by
sure I'm right there
a
with you.
lot.
I'm sure I'm right there with you.
Me and you are holding it. Me, you, and Jack are holding the bottom three spots down.
Let's go, baby.
And guess
We
who's in first? Hannah
and
Rose.
oh yes. Oh my God.
Hannah Rose.
Shout out Hannah for your bracket. I was hoping that we would have material ammunition uh, to come at you, but
Nah,
we're
she
shooting
has
blanks, and
kicked.
you're gonna be coming full speed at us. So shout out to Hannah.
She has kicked everybody's ass.
Yeah, it's crazy how that stuff happens.
Yeah,
I did a little bit.
oh,
I did a
man.
little bit of research. You know, what I mean, not too in depth with my picks, whatnot. But like my main bracket, the one that I've used, it's terrible. I don't know why. Looking back now, I don't know why I picked Houston. Um, but all the
Well,
other picks too have been terrible. Like I also went through my class periods and we filled one out, and
mhm.
all those have done way better than my main one. So that's a real kick in the sack.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's like I had NC State making an Elite Eight run. Then I changed it back to Tech making the Sweet 16 run. You know, freaking who saw Bama making it
Yeah,
to the Final
yeah,
Four? Who saw Clemson making an Elite Eight run?
yeah. You know what I mean? Like
You know,
some of the first round games, like a big one I can think off the top of my head was Oakland beating Kentucky. Like,
oh my gosh.
I was not mad at that one, in terms of having that one bust my bracket because
Hmm.
uh, just for what it is, like the first round upsets,
Well,
all
Yale
that kind of stuff.
beating Auburn.
Yeah, that one hurt. That one
Oh,
hurt.
dude, I had Auburn. I had Auburn. I think in my Final Four.
Mm,
I had
that
I
one,
had them beating UConn to go to the Final Four.
that one hurt. That one hurt.
And what I've kind of looked at too and realized that like recency bias is a thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
the whole
uh,
obviously it could help you because if you watch the NC State play, hell, you could pick them all the way. But freaking like, who would have thought Purdue would have got their crap together this year and and all their games have not been close.
well, same with
Gon-
same with
Gonzaga, but
UConn.
they beat they beat Gonzaga by 12. That was
Yeah,
their closest game so far.
yeah. No,
UConn same way.
UConn's been absolutely hammering people. Like not just beating them by 8 or 10, like hammering them.
Mm-hmm.
So like obviously when we think about that now, hindsight, you're just like because I'm
Well,
looking at my main bracket that I filled out. This was my final four. I had Auburn, Baylor, and then Houston, Tennessee, and all those teams are out now.
I had NC State, Auburn, Creighton, Houston.
Yeah, it's. I just got a little. I think when I first filled it out, I got a little bit leery of. It's been a long time since we've had back-to-back winners, so that's what kind of scared me
Yeah.
off of UConn. I figured Purdue would be Purdue, and lose early on
Mm-hmm.
when they shouldn't, uh, all that kind of stuff. But that's what's
Right.
crazy about March Madness. Is you never know what you're going to get. Uh,
I mean, if you think about this, we're going to have two ones, a four, and either another four or 11 in the final four.
which yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, like Purdue putting it together or making it to the Final Four. It's kind of one
Yeah.
of those things like, oh, there they go. They finally figured it out on the third time of asking. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
good to them.
And
UConn is just, they're just stupid good.
yeah, they're doing some good stuff.
Bama's going to
What?
have to shoot 70% from 3-point land to beat UConn, in
Hmm.
my opinion.
That's the thing with Bama is like I watched them. They can score 200, but they'll give up 150.
Yeah.
They don't play very. They didn't play very good defense in the Southeastern Conference, and the
Yeah.
SEC is not just a bunch of world beaters
No. Uh,
in
but,
basketball.
it's just kind of like that thing, though, sometimes when it gets to March Madness, it's just you get on a roll and,
Hmm.
you know,
And matchups,
yeah.
how teams match up, with you.
Yeah, like speaking of Alabama, obviously the other night, Thursday, they knocked off the Tar Heels, and obviously that was very disappointing, uh, personally. But watching the game, the Tar Heels had a great first half, shot the ball really well, and then
What's the
in
score?
the second half, Bama just did what they did. You know what I mean? They got timely stops, they crashed the board, they hit some threes or shots when they needed to, and then
Hmm.
the Tar Heels went cold, or if the Tar Heels would try to start a run, Bama would, you know, cut out, put out the fire before it got too bad and carried it into a win. Same thing kind of last night versus Clemson. You know what I mean? Like Clemson started well, their free throw shooting was terrible.
Oh, freaking free throws killed a lot of teams down the stretch.
Yeah. Uh, Now I will say this: so far, personally, my favorite game of the tournament was Houston and A&M by far.
It was now
Entertaining, physical game.
uh,
It was
six.
crazy to see all the guys foul out, and they're getting to the almost. It feels like they're getting into to the end of the bench. These got these guys in overtime, and
Mm-hmm.
Houston
And
does just enough to
Yeah.
outlast
A-
A&M, but
A&M misses 16 free throws that game.
yeah, that's just
I
terrible. You
mean,
know what I mean?
you hit six more free throws, you win.
Yes. Yeah.
But yes, that was like it was weird. It's really tough. It's when you're filling out brackets, and especially like if you partake in sports betting and any kind of gambling, that a lot of times I know people, they won't even bet their team. Like they don't want fan to influence their money.
Yep. Yep. But it makes
Well,
sense though. It's like sometimes when I would do stuff like that, like I would purposely sometimes bet against. So it's almost kind of like a win-win situation. You know what I mean? Like if your
right.
team wins, perfect, they get to go through. If they lose,
You
then
win some money.
you're making some money off of it. You know what I mean? So
So you're just kind of hedging your bets on that
yes,
one. But yeah, man, it was the Houston. And honestly, once A&M got beat, I have not watched the games. The Duke NC State game's the first March Madness game I've seen since A&M Houston,
okay, that's
and
not
so
bad.
I really haven't watched much of it. The US UFL,
Yeah,
is
I
that what
watched
it's rebranded
uh
now? The
United,
UFL,
yeah,
or
United Football League.
I don't know. It's the XFL USFL
Yeah, yes,
merger
yes,
league.
yes.
Um, I saw that started this week, so I haven't watched. I didn't watch any of it this weekend.
I watched a little bit. There was a game on TV that I watched for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The St. Louis Battlehawks and the Michigan Panthers. I watched a little bit of that game and then flipped it over to watch the end of the Braves Phillies baseball game.
Right.
It's just kind of hard
Well,
to watch that a little bit. Uh, Not that it's terrible football. It's just it doesn't feel as exciting at the moment. You know what I mean?
right. I know last year especially the XFL, you had all those new rules
Right.
being implemented, and people wanted to see the new rules in place. And what one of those new rules last year has now been implemented into the NFL.
Yeah. Which I'm. That was one of the rules. I think we've talked about it before on the show, but the rule they
Uh,
came up with NFL, for those that don't know, was basically the kickoff kickoff return rule in terms of
you s-
where the guys line up, the zones and stuff like that, which
you
was
start
what I'm
5 yards apart from each
yeah,
other.
which I think is going to be great for the NFL and for their charge in terms of trying to limit uh, injuries and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be fun to see that. I think the other rule change that would have been kind of fun to see in NFL was what they do is with the was it after they touchdown the options of going for 1, 2, or 3, right?
Three, yeah.
Like that, how they move the ball around.
Well, and you got to think too. There, like I was just thought about this too, and I was listening to ESPN when all that stuff was proposed, and as some of those guys talk, and some of it makes some sense. Without the kickoff return, guys like Devin Hester, is it Gibbs, Devin Hester, Cobbs, those guys, those kick return specialists,
Yeah,
there's may not have a place for them.
right.
That's how like a guy like Devin Hester and Cobb's kind of made. Gosh, what they got? What's the guy's first name?
Devin,
Play for the Browns. Cobb's is that the one I'm thinking of?
Randall Cobb
Is it Randall? No, not Randall Cobb. Who am I thinking of?
for the
Who am
Browns.
I freaking? Yeah, played for the Browns. They drafted him as receiver slash kickoff return guy.
Oh, Cribs.
Cribs, not Cobb. Sorry, Cribs. You got those two guys who made bank. They made their mark freaking returning kicks.
Yeah,
And kind of changed the game that way. Another guy brought up a good point of, would Sean Payton have a Super Bowl if it wasn't for that surprise onside?
right. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and
Obviously,
now
that
with this new rule, you have to announce, "Hey, we are onside in this thing." You
Yeah,
know,
it's obviously it's definitely now going to be, it's going to have to tinker with
so
how they do stuff now. Now in the XFL and stuff like that, they had it to where they had they didn't really have onside. It was more of like if they wanted to.
was it the play? It was
Yeah,
like,
it was like they had 4th and 15 or something like that, and they could go for it if they wanted to see their
mhm,
onside or something. Like, don't quote me, I can't
yeah.
remember off my head.
You convert it, you just keep moving on.
Right.
You don't convert it, they get the ball right there, a short field.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Because I
So
think something like whatever it came out to is like basically similar to like if the team tried to onside it. You know what
the question is, how long do we until we see this? If it works out, till the NCAA adopts that, then you know as well as I do. Once the NCAA adopts something, normally high school
I mean? It
is
filters its way down.
right behind it.
Yeah. I would say, off the top of my head, the head with no hair, but a couple years, right? I'm pretty sure that college football has so much other stuff going on in terms of the playoff and already want to expand the playoff and conference realignment and the portal and the NIL stuff. Uh,
The hell, the prop betting stuff. You see that?
mm-mm.
The NCAA is trying to make it where, or try to pass something where Vegas can't, or people can't prop bet on the NCAA because they're saying it's the integrity of the game or some stuff
Well,
like that.
if they're trying to fight that battle, they're going to lose because the integrity of the game is
Well,
dead now. You know what I mean?
there's too much money in
Yeah,
that stuff. There's too much money in that stuff anyway, too.
yeah. If they're they'll find some type of way to get their kickback. They'll try to fight it, and then they'll eventually try to pass legislation to still allow it, but they can still get in there and get their cut of it. Just like with the playoff and all the other kind of stuff. They open Pandora's box with a lot of things, and trying to litigate it after the fact. I think they're kind of
Hmm.
starting to realize now that like they can't. What I mean, it's a difficult battle for them to try to fight. When they probably should have been a little bit better prepared before establishing everything. But that's their
Yeah.
own fault. That's
Oh yeah. And they're like I said, they're awful.
But
You know,
I would say a couple of years, maybe 2 to 3 years, see how it works in the NFL. See if the NFL keeps it, because I believe when the NFL passed it, it was for a 1 year, almost like a trial run kind of thing to
hmm
see. So it can either work out really, really well, and the NFL keeps it, and then another season or two after that, you'll see college football adopt it, or it doesn't work well in the NFL, and college never sees it. So
right. I was
it'll be
just
interesting to see.
Yeah,
How
100%.
it works.
Man, it's freaking yeah, it's a wild times right now in sports.
Oh
It
yeah,
is a freaking wild
it's
right
just
now,
a
man.
lot of change. So like we are so used to how things are. Like the NFL has always been like set in stone. This is how we've done things. They've made tweaks here and there. Uh, obviously their fight for what's a catch, you know, pass interference, all that kind of stuff has been something that they haven't found the right answer for, which
Right.
is crazy. They should have by now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But everything else has been pretty much set in stone. So we're used to that, and so now they're starting to throw more. I don't want to say modern, but just new, innovative things into it. So now it's kind of like,
Well,
all right, let's see how it works out.
I mean, think about like all that I was thinking about this the other day when they passed the hip drop
Yeah,
tackle stuff. What do you think about that, man?
I
I get it.
right,
Like I
uh,
understand why,
right. I just
but
it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes for players to take that rule into effect and change the way they do stuff. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if that's always been something that they've done or been taught. I would take a guess that it's been something that has risen the last few, not last few, but
Well, you
over
you yeah. Well, you got to avoid the head or neck area.
that. Yeah, from
I mean, they're trying to take the head out of the game, which is a good thing. You know, they're trying to take the head out of the game, which is good. But it's making it to me. It's making it harder for defenders.
yes,
Eventually, we said in our group text before. It's eventually that what's going to become. It's 7-on-7.
yeah,
It's eventually going to become is 7-on-7.
yeah,
The
and
NFL wants high scoring games
yeah.
because people do not like watching good defense.
No,
They want to watch.
they want entertainment.
They want 48, 52, 48.
Yeah, they want
55, 51.
yeah, and they want entertainment because entertainment is what's going to put people in the seats. It's like when you watch college football for the most part. Why do people love to watch college football maybe more than NFL? It's because one, you never know what you're going to get for the most part, like on an average Saturday, and then two, you know,
What's more wide open
yeah,
than the NFL.
yeah, you know what I mean, like
Especially some of those offenses, like when Oregon with Chip Kelly was clicking.
yeah,
That offense was fun. That's fun. They're fun to watch.
yeah,
Those offenses work.
right,
Sarkeesian's offense is fun to watch
yeah,
when everything's clicking.
yeah. Same, Lane Kiffin, all those innovative guys at the college where they can experiment because it's more like you said, it's wide open. Where in the NFL, it's more of a you know, of course, when you get to NFL, the quality, the caliber of players is a
Oh,
little more even matched.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't just do some of the college stuff and get away with it because the NFL is
Well, the
more.
athletes,
Yeah,
the athletes are too good.
yeah. You know what I mean? So you got to
You
be.
got Aaron Donald chasing a sweep down from behind.
Shout out Aaron Donald. Enjoy retirement, buddy. I'll miss you, but thanks for everything as a Rams
Sl-
fan. But
Sleep well, sleep well, my prince.
yeah, when he announced his retirement, every
Uh,
offensive lineman across the league just thank
thank gosh.
thank you. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
I would say these last 2 years, he was still a dominant force, but it wasn't still, it felt like he took a step back, in my opinion, because he wasn't filling up the stat sheet like he'd done before. But it just
Right.
shows you, like, how dominant a player he's been in his career that the last 2 years, he was still top defensive tackle in the league. But, you know,
First ballot.
first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion, not being biased. Just when you go back and look what he's done, I remember seeing one stat where his like pass rush percentage was at a certain point against double teams, and it was like the same as or greater than everybody else when they have 1-on-1. Pass rush percentage. It was just crazy what he was able to do. It'd be
Mm-hmm.
funny that when people would share video clips and he's getting triple or quadruple team, uh, you know, you know, during a game or whatever. But just great dude, great football player. Will be missed. Uh, we'll see how the Rams adjust to life
Life.
post Donald,
Yeah.
whatnot. But great career. But anyway, like you said, the talent in NFL is so much more precise and advanced compared to college. So obviously the game's got to be played differently because it's
I
more
mean,
even across the board.
there's a reason there's only on if you think about it, there's only a handful of guys that can get away with running like read option
Yeah,
in the NFL.
yeah,
You know, in college you see that every Saturday.
right.
You know, but NFL those defensive ends and linebackers are a lot faster and they can kind of play both a little bit.
Yeah, and obviously, going back to your original question of the hip drop tackle, or whatever you call it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously that came out of what you mentioned in terms of the NFL taking the head out of the game in terms of taking the headshots, and even that is still kind of messy at times in terms of the targeting and stuff because there's
No,
times during the game where
it's the
you
human
know,
error.
Yeah,
You know,
but there's even times where you watch a game in the NFL and a guy gets hit in the head, but you know, it's not the defensive guy's not purposely trying to come in and just hit him there. It's just the offensive guy might lower his head or whatever
yeah.
the case
I
may
was
be. You know what I mean?
I was about to say. Usually, it's if there's nowadays if there's any usually head to head contact, it's just the offensive guy trying to get low,
Yes.
initiate the contact, and the defensive guy is already committed to his target area.
Yeah, and that's
So
the
when he
tough.
started the tackle, his
Yeah.
target area was here, and the offensive guy lowered his target,
Yeah.
his body. So now your target as a defender has to drop now, but
Yeah. But
everything happens so fast, you
it's
can't.
it's impossible. Like you almost feel sorry in a way for NFL defenses based on how rules have changed, but it's like
Hmm.
you said, it's going to get to the point where it's two hand touch. You know what I mean? Because like the hip, whatever they call it, the hip roll tackle, whatever. Like obviously that kind of came out of a way to avoid, the head.
It's a rugby style tackle,
Yeah, and that was
which that's where they got a lot of this,
yeah,
like the hot.
and that's
You
what's
remember the hot tackling,
yeah, and
the
that's what's
hot
been
tackling stuff.
and that was pushed in the NFL. It got pushed in college. It filtered its way down to high school football. We've had to do remember doing the tackling stuff for
The
uh
tackling certification.
yeah, I
You
mean,
had to take two tests 2 years in a row.
yeah,
Now they're good for life, but
yeah,
still, like new coaches, you got you people who aren't coaches. You got to do this thing called it's the UIL portal stuff. So you got to do as a first year coach, you have to do the first year coach test and get certified in that. Both tackling certification tests, get certified in that. Your rules to get certified in that concussion test. I mean, there's like what, probably eight
yeah,
tests you got to take and pass to get quote unquote certified. And it's not a one time thing; it's every year. But after your first year, you don't have to do the new coach or in the tackling stuff anymore. You just have to do your concussion, steroids,
yeah,
and your rules for your sports you coach.
yeah.
So
It's
if you get sent to Austin because you're got thrown out of a game, you all say, "Oh, you completed your training on this."
yeah,
And if you didn't, well, it's gonna be not very
yeah.
good
It's
for you.
yeah for those that like he's saying like for seasoned coaches. So like newbies, your first 2 years you got to do the tackling certification. Your first year you got to do, and then after that, every year it's the same thing you got to take. Like so for example, if you take if you're coaching football and track, what I mean. Uh, you got to take like Clete said, you got to do concussion, there's sportsmanship, ethics, steroids,
Hmm.
and then
Then
there's
you got to
more.
do high school 11-man football,
Yeah,
junior high if you coach junior high 11-man football.
and then
If you
whatever your
coach
second
basketball,
third sport.
yep. So I was gonna say like basketball, you got to do. If you coach high school and junior high, you got to do high school basketball and junior high basketball. If you coach track, you got to do junior high track and high school track.
Now, the one good thing about it is that s- thankfully you don't have to repeat it for all the sports. So like once you get done with concussion and all that stuff,
Your rules and ethics,
yeah,
yes,
that's what's one time, and then all you got to do for your second sport is do your second sports
is your
basically
rules
rules and stuff like
basically.
that for that sport. You know what I mean? So it's
My
not too bad,
favorite,
and it's the same thing every year. So
my favorite question are the rules and ethics test. If an official makes a call you don't agree with, what do you do? It's
yeah,
like argue with them, bow mouth to your players,
yeah,
something else, agree, understand the call or agree
yeah,
with the call and say
yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
Agree with the call and say nothing is the correct answer in
yeah,
that.
yeah. But all the other ones are correct when it's on a Friday night when live
Dude,
ammunition is going. You know what I mean? So
that
yeah, it's
that is my favorite question out of that whole
the
thing.
whole sportsmanship quiz is like seeing the world through like rosy colored glasses. Like You know what I mean?
It's great, and there's some coaches that'll go argue the call
Yeah.
because they know they passed it. They may just do it just cause
Oh,
out of just principle.
yeah. And usually there's that one coach on staff that does it, that takes it, and then is the person that helps everybody else
He's
slide
the
through
answer
it.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
usually it's your young coach.
usually
It's
I try to.
usually
That's usually something I usually
same,
do. I
same.
do I do that for even some of the school stuff like that we all have to do, and you have to go through and take quizzes or whatnot. I'll be the guy that goes through, takes it. I
Oh,
may not take pictures of the answers and let everybody know, like, hey, I passed with the X amount. Here are
dude.
the questions I got right and questions I got wrong.
One year when I was in Denver City, I'm gonna spill the beans here a little bit, and it's been 5 years, so it's who cares.
Not a lot of people listen to the
we
show, so you're
Oh,
good.
I know, we're good. We had to get like these certificates, so you have to take this test and get certificates. Well, we found out after you hit print, you could go back and change the name on the certificate. So someone took the test, got everything right. Then we started going back and typing names in, hit print, go back, type names and
PDF
hit print.
file.
Oh my gosh, coach. I don't think I think two people took that freaking test. A buddy of mine was not very happy with it because he's the one that did it right.
Yeah,
And everyone else says, hey, let me get
that's
that.
that's just part of the it's just part of the rite of
Uh,
passage. You know what I mean?
it's
When
just
when the shoe's on the opposite foot and you're
oh
that guy higher up the totem pole, then the next lower, the guy lowest in the totem pole will do it for you. It's just that kind of thing.
oh it's oh it was
I'm
just
guessing that
God,
was
it was funny.
all. I'm guessing that was before it was all done electronically, or like
No,
where it
it
kind of.
was still done electronically, but they just some depending on the program you use. They usually once you finish the test, it kind of locks you out of it, so you can't go back. Well, this program did not. So you were able to go back, type names in, hit print, go back, type names in, hit print again.
Yeah.
Oh, we made like 12 or 13, 14 copies of that certificate and
I
turned them all in to the people who needed to have them.
I get you. I usually what I did was I would go through and score 80% or above whatever it was. You know what I mean? And I would go through and I would literally copy and paste the questions and print them out, and then we just have them stuck up to the whiteboard and have a little thing saying, "Hey, you know, here you go." You know what I mean? And then people can
Yeah.
grab them, or you do it so much, or like somebody like me, like I could memorize multiple choice questions for the most part. So when people like say if you came up and like, hey, I need your help, I'm about to take the sportsman one. I'll be all right, let's go. I'll go through them. All right, it's this one, this one, this one.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Like I said, here at Roosevelt, we kind of did the same thing. Me and another guy, one day we got in early, so we just knocked out all of our freaking UIL crap
Yeah,
we just did it together, and
right.
anyone else needed help, we just helped them. Like you said, I took pictures of every swinging question. And the great thing is, you can go if you made like a 60, you can go back and see what answers you missed
Yeah,
in the answers you put.
yeah,
So now you can eliminate one answer choice,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
But
have
the one nice thing about it all, I guess, from our perspective, and even though we got to do it every single summer, but for the most part, everything stays the same.
oh
You know,
yeah, they haven't. Those
so
test questions have been the same test questions for 10 years so far
I'm
for
about to
me.
say, yeah, for me,
It's the same it's the same freaking test.
yeah, but it's great, obviously. So there's for the listeners that actually listen, there's some insider trading there
No,
about what we do.
inside baseball.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of baseball, here's a little
Shut
great
up.
transition, right? So
Shut up.
this is where
Shut up.
Jack would come through and be like, "Oh, speaking of baseball, all right,
Shut up.
listeners, I just want to let y'all know I'm gonna
Shut
say
up.
it right now because
Shut up.
I don't know how the rest of the year is gonna go because it's a long season. If you've been paying attention and okay, in terms of religion stuff, y'all know
Shut
that
up.
Cletus is a big Houston Astros fan, and there's a reason why he keeps saying "shut up." So I'm gonna tell you in a second. I'm a big New York Yankees fan. So opening day was last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who started a 4-game series in Houston? That's right, the New York game. Guess what happened today? For you listeners, the Yankees swept them. And so I've
Shut
been,
up.
like I told Jack, I've just been at the end of every game because the first 3 games the Yankees came back and beat them. I'm just sending
Which,
little
oh,
little
dude,
gifs, little
uh,
gifs to the group chat for Cletus that said Yankees win, right? And of course I sent him another one today. I sent him a sweet thing today, just trying to get it in there because when the Yankees season falls apart and the Astros make the playoffs again or knock the Yankees
and
out of
let's
the
be
playoffs again.
fair. Last year, when the Astros won like 4 of the 5 series they played, I sent a GIF. The Dave Ortiz, the Yankees
Yeah,
lose.
it's Cletus and I have a nice little battle back and forth every time the Yankees and Astros play. He's had the upper hand because truly, when it really matters, the Astros always come through, right? Cletus can agree. Um, Playoff baseball time. Last time they played in playoffs, the Astros swept the Yankees. So it was just fun, because coming into this baseball season, I wasn't really particularly high on the Yankees based on what they did not do in the offseason to
Well,
make their team better.
Getting Soto helped
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. But in terms of some of the other things they could have done,
Hmm.
bolstered their starting pitching, X,
Well,
Y, and Z. You know what I
this
mean?
one, Houston invested 60 million, I think, in their bullpen, and the bullpen freaking let them down
Yeah,
all 4 games,
yeah.
or
But
3 of the 4 games this year. This first series.
no,
So
yeah. Which okay, so here's my thing for the Astros. They will figure it out eventually, right?
I
Just like
think
they
so
did last
too.
year. They will figure it out. They still got Altuve's there, Alvarez, Bregman. They still got their studs, and they'll figure it out. They didn't really have the best series, which it benefited the Yankees, but they'll figure it out and they'll get rolling. The pitching staff the starting pitching is still really good in Houston. The
Hmm.
bullpen will figure itself out. For me, the weirdest thing about Houston right now, and it was the
I
same
didn't.
thing
I
last
didn't.
year.
I didn't watch a single inning
I watched
of of that series
I watched here and
because
there.
Thursday, Friday, I was track meeting.
Yeah,
Yesterday, I just forgot they were playing, and today I saw the notification. And I'm just like, I just don't want to get mad today.
yeah. I was able to watch it last night because I was on Apple TV, but the rest of it's been blacked out
Hmm.
on the MLB app. So I've had to
God.
watch it through the phone, the little picture diagram stuff.
Mm.
But the weirdest thing for me for the Astros, and it was the same thing last year, but for some reason they are terrible at home. Like
Yeah, I know.
yesterday had a picture, and it was like they won 40% of their home games last year, and they won 60% of their road games. It was like the biggest difference,
Hmm.
split in a long time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just don't
Well,
understand.
and I'm telling you right now, if Game 7 of the ALCS was in Arlington, not Houston, last year, the Astros would be in the World Series against the D-backs.
Yeah,
I'm a
especially with
fir-
how
I'm a firm believer in the if the ALCS would
I
had to
agree.
go through, so us winning the division really hurt us in the long run
Right.
last year. Looking back at it, you think the Rangers should have won, so you just had to go to Arlington. Now nothing's ever guaranteed, but you feel better about
The odds are in
going
your
to
favor.
Arlington last year and
Yeah.
getting a win than having to close it out in Houston.
Yeah. And based on how their season was last year, the odds would have been in your favor. You know what I mean? Like, all right,
Yeah.
if we go play in Arlington, there's a 60% chance we win this game. Compared to when you go
Hmm.
play in Houston, there's a 40% chance. For whatever reason, I always felt like it used to be flipped. Like if you went to Houston, like you better have your stud pitching, and you better catch them on an off night. This is what it used to feel like going to Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, when early in this little run, this 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 run they've had the last hell, how long has it been, Josh? 2016. So what we so
I
going
would
eight
easily
years.
Yeah, I was gonna say 6 to 8 years.
See, the 6 to 8 year run Houston's had, the first 5 years, you felt really good going to Minute Maid and defending your home. Last year it was just a weird. They got
Last,
figured out. They got to win at Minute Maid more than they lose.
last
They
year was
have
like
to.
such a anomaly for them last year because previous seasons, like you mentioned, like going to Minute Maid, there's a good chance that you're gonna have to go against Verlander. At one point, you had to go against Cole. You have the other guys now. Uh,
I don't ask me because I've having again. I'm awful. Like I watch the games, but I really don't keep up with the
yeah,
rosters very much unless we like lose like
yeah,
A Carlos Correa, George Springer. One of those
yeah,
big dogs, Garrett
yeah,
Cole that
right.
year.
But they're starting pitching to some of the best still in the majors. You know what I mean? Even though Verlander's up there in age, he's still dominant. And the other young guys they got still, when they're on, they're on. So they still got a good quality starting staff. Bullpen wise, I guess it's one of those things you never know where you're going to get. It could be good or it could be disastrous, whatnot. So
Oh, and by the way, DJ Burns is doing DJ Burns things right now.
they dominate the
Again,
Gookies.
it's 65-52 with a minute 55 left in the game,
That's
and he has 25 points.
He's been a stud, man. I've watched them. Oh my, there you go. Wow. What a run! I'm going to say this right now. What a run for North Carolina State. Watched them through the whole ACC championship. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
or tournament. Obviously, watched them in the tournament, the championship game against Tar Heels, and they just were able to continue that run. And they've just continued that. And sometimes it happens. You know what I mean? You just teams get on a roll. That confidence is through the roof. They play relaxed. They have fun with it and they just continue to produce. And that is what they're doing so far. Um, obviously, they have played Duke before, so they know these teams know each other. But at the same time, like Cletus said, Burns has been doing Burns things. He's a big dude, looks like an offensive tackle, but moves really, really good on a basketball court. Their guard, Bourne, good player. You know what I mean? Like they're just good
He's
quality
one.
pieces that are
He's one of the few like big man in the last few years. I actually like. He gets the ball and he's not just stuck with it. He can dish it out. He's a really good passer for a guy his size.
oh yeah. Yeah, so obviously watching that, you try to double team him, he's just going to kick it out to somebody wide open to hit a three or something. So
Yep. All right.
they're having
So
a great run. Um, thanks for that. I didn't
yeah,
totally forgot, but they're currently up 11 right now with a minute
yeah.
39 left in the second. So good chance that they're going to make Final Four appearance, which I don't think anybody expected that. Uh, whatever.
Right.
But great run for them.
Oh yeah. So real quick, back to baseball. Sorry,
Uh,
Josh. I know
no, no,
we're
you're
going
good.
over here.
You're good.
So last week before we recorded, I found some um, win totals and World Series odds.
Uh-huh.
Right now, and I know it's so before the season started, Josh, top 5 teams and win totals. Who has the 5? Who did Vegas predict as the 5 teams will have the most wins this season?
Oh, I'm gonna number one. I would guess that the Dodgers.
Yep, 103.5
Yep.
is what Vegas has it at.
Okay. I'm gonna also now from here on 2 through 4 or 2 through 5. Excuse me. No idea who it's gonna be. I would assume the Braves are up there.
They're number 2, 101.5.
Okay. I'm guessing the Astros.
They're 3, 93.5.
Okay. Do they have the Rangers up there?
They're number 6.
Okay. Not bad. Let me think here. Baltimore.
They're number 5, 89.5. Really, there's a tie for 5.
Okay. Which if Baltimore can repeat what they did last year, then good for them because that means they got something good. Can't be the Yankees.
By the way, the Rangers are at 88.5 is what Vegas has the win total at.
And they had Baltimore at 89.5.
Mm-hmm.
The Rays?
The Rays, they are. Where are the Rays? The Rays, no, they're not top 5. They're number 12.
Okay. Phillies.
The Phillies are tied for 5 with Baltimore with 89.5. Missing one of them.
Oh, they're not top 4? Or is there 3 teams tied?
Well, there's no. Phillies and the Orioles are tied for 5 with
Oh, okay.
89.5
I'm
wins.
missing the
So
4
really,
spot.
there's 6 teams, but
Okay, number 4. AL or NL?
AL.
Can't be the Yankees.
Hey, Josh.
It's the Yankees?
It's the Yankees. 90.5.
If the Yankees win 90 plus games this year, okay, I will.
Well, guess what, Josh? All they have to do is win 86 more, and they're there.
I know. If the Yankees win 90 plus games this year, I will pay for me, you, Jack, Cobbs, Benny, a round of golf, and all the drinks.
I ain't rooting for the fucking Yankees. Still not rooting for the fucking Yankees.
If Jack and all them here was like, oh, hell yeah, let's go, count me up.
Oh, I'm with it, but I'm still not rooting for the Yankees.
That's fine. That's fine. So just to let everybody know here on the show, if the Yankees win 90 plus games this year for the whole D.B.A.B. crew.
So real quick. So they got to win 91.
Yep.
Not 90. 90 doesn't hit. 91.
Because what you said was 90.5, right?
Yeah. So they have to hit
91 games, to be fair. Rounded up. 91 games. If the Yankees win 91 games or more, I will pay for the whole D.B.A.B. crew a round of golf and drinks.
All right. Sounds good.
Drinks to a certain limit. Now, I don't want y'all going crazy.
Yeah,
I know these different stuff.
So that's your top 5, 6 teams with the win totals.
Right.
So your next, like number 7 is the Twins with 87.5. 8's the Mariners, 87.5. Tied for 7, sorry. Then you got the Blue Jays, Cardinals, Rays, Cubs, D.B.A.B.s, Giants, Padres, Mets, all above 80. And the Reds are all above 80 wins. So they're now bottom 5.
Oh, let's go. Bottom 5?
Bottom 5.
I want to try to guess the worst team in baseball this year.
Who Vegas thinks they're going to be the worst teams.
Oh. Ooh. It's an AL team. Right?
It is an AL team, yes.
It's the Miami Marlins.
Nope. Actually, they have Miami 77.5 wins.
Okay. All right.
So they're going to win more than half their games.
That's surprising.
No, that's less than half. Right.
81 is half.
81's half? Yeah, so less than half their games.
Yeah. Oh, that's not
yeah. So worst team.
It's going to be the Royals?
The Royals are right outside the bottom 5.
Wow.
They're at 70. So the Royals are at 73.5.
Okay. Let me think. Oakland Athletics.
That's who Vegas has as the worst team.
Yeah.
They're projecting them to win 57.5 games.
Seems kind of
high. Oh, you know what? You know the old saying though in baseball, you're going to win a third and lose a third of your games in baseball. Yeah. It's what you do with the other third.
Yeah.
Will define your season.
Okay, so you got the A's.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Royals down there.
The Royals are just outside the bottom 5. So I'll give you this one. So outside the bottom five are the Royals, the Pirates, the Brewers, the Marlins, the Red Sox, and the Guardians.
Oh
The
wow.
Guardian, yeah. So the Royals through the Guardians are from 73.5 wins to 79.5 wins.
Are the Mets down there?
The Mets are actually 81.5. They're projecting.
All right. Maybe they can not be terrible like they were last year.
Right. Let's see. I'll give you this hint. One. You've already guessed athletics. So the other two, you have two more AL teams
Uh-huh.
and two NL teams.
That's White Sox.
The White Sox is one of them at 61.5 wins.
Okay. Uh, okay. I'm gonna try to knock up this number. You know. All right. So White Sox are Central.
You have two more NL teams and one more AL team.
That should be flipped. Aren't the White Sox NL?
No, the White Sox are AL.
Oh,
The Cubs are the NL.
yeah. The Cubs, the other one.
Nope, actually the Cubbies. All right, the Cubs are 83.5, so they're projecting the Cubs to go about 500.
Okay, not bad. All right, one more AL. It's not the AL. I should.
Do you want me to give you a division?
Is it
Or do
from
you
the
want-
Central?
They're not from the Central. No,
The West.
they're in the West.
Okay, so we got the Rangers, the Astros, the Athletics, Mariners. No, Mariners are better than that.
The Mariners are 87.5 wins. So I actually project the Mariners to have a pretty. They're a game behind the Rangers. They're a game behind the Rangers in their projections. So remember, the Mariners took the freaking Stros
Yeah,
and the Rangers down to the wire last year.
yeah.
They're a lot better team they've been last 3 or 4 years. Who's the last team in that division?
Wasn't it the A's?
There's one more.
Oh, oh, this is embarrassing. The show.
You want me to give you the? You want me to give you the state they're in?
Yeah, give me this fake.
California.
The Angels. God,
Yep. 72.5 wins.
I should have known the Angels. Poor Trout.
Yeah.
I feel-
I'm about to say where the Angels have had two generational talents, and one of them's smart enough to get the hell out of there, and the other one's getting paid a freaking bag and a half.
Which at this point, he's so injury prone that he's probably just easily collecting that money with no problem.
Oh, 100%. So you got your AL teams out of the way. Now you have the NL.
Okay, now this one's fun. All right, so are there any from the West?
From the West, I'm awful with the NL teams. Let me see. Yes, there's one in the NL West. One of them. I'll give you this one. The
other one's the Central?
Nope.
East?
Yep. So you have an NL West team and an NL East team.
Okay, the West is Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Diamondbacks, the Rockies. That's it.
Great podcasting right here.
I know, sir. This is great.
Just
But
silence.
I love doing this trivia stuff and not looking it up because I relish in this stuff because I'd like to think that
So yeah, you have a West team, the East team.
in the East, the Phillies, the Braves, the Mets. I know like the top 3 teams. Oh,
Yeah, it's that fourth team I'll give you this one. The team you're missing is the team.
I know. That's the team in the West, right?
Yes. No, in
I
the
know.
East.
Oh,
In the East. You've said the team are in the West because you named all the teams in the West.
yeah. So the Padres?
Nope. The
No.
Padres are at
Or the Giants?
83.5. The Giants are 83.5.
Okay. Can't be the Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks are 83.5.
Can't be the Dodgers.
The Dodgers, we had said, are 103.5.
Mhm. No, the Rockies aren't in that West. I've already mentioned them.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, it's the Rockies.
They're in the West.
Yeah, they're the NL West. They're at 59.5 games.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought the Rockies were beating such. Okay.
You
That's.
would think, right?
I
As
know. NFL, like you can tell me right now, like go through and name all the divisions in the
see,
NFL, and I would have no problem with it. But baseball would be next, and then NFL. I mean, not NFL. NBA. I would struggle the most.
NBA, I could no, I
I
used
couldn't
to
do it.
probably be able to when I watched the NBA a lot more.
Yeah,
I could probably rattle off at least the
I
West.
I can't even tell you who's in the Heat division. You know what I mean? So shows you how much
Right.
I pay attention to that. Baseball wise, a little bit more pay attention to.
By the way, sorry, NC State just made final.
Let's go!
S-
Congratulations
s-
to the Wolfpack of NC State continuing their
First,
magic run.
first Final Four since 1983.
Yep, and I would say the early to mid '80s was when they were really good. They had like I think Samson or something his name.
Don't give me lying.
So congratulations to the Wolfpack, who went from their head coach went from being on the chopping block to now probably getting an extension. So congratulations
Oh yeah.
to him. But anyways, so the Final Four has been set. To give us a brief pause as we think about baseball teams. Uh, so now we have UConn versus Alabama and Purdue versus North Carolina State. So
That Purdue NC State game because you got the two big boys matching up.
yeah.
I think that's going to be. I
Mhm.
think that's going to be the obviously. I think that's going to be the best game of the four, just because UConn's been boat racing everybody, like you
Now,
said before.
does UConn finally get competition versus Alabama, or do they blow them out?
Mm.
I think they blow them out. I think they blow them out. I think the Purdue North Carolina State game is close, but I think Purdue will eventually pull away.
So we'll have 2 1 seeds in the.
Yep,
All right.
that'll be my prediction based on Final Four participants. We shall see.
All right. NL East.
Is it an East Coast city?
Yes. Wait. East Coast City.
Like the state it's in.
Uh, Kinda. Let me go that.
All right, so let's go through the NL East here. So we have the Braves, the Phillies, the Mets. Oh,
The
the
Phillies.
Marlins, right, are in there.
Mm-hmm. There's one more.
The worst team.
Or two Vegas thinks is the worst. Really, right now they're sitting third because they actually won a game. There's a lot this opening weekend.
Give me a hint. I'm gonna
Um,
about to go do my homework.
they
So
have
pathetic.
red and blue in their logo.
Red and blue. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I feel like I apologize to listeners if y'all are listening this far into the podcast, an hour in, and you just all you hear me is stumble and go silent, and y'all are screaming into your at your car or your phone or whatever, and it is so and so. I apologize right now.
And by the way,
I
you
apologize.
have not said the team name yet. So the team you're missing,
I know. I can't
there's
think of
5
it.
teams in the division. You
Blue
said
and
4 of
red.
the 5. Yep.
This is absolutely terrible on my end. Blue and red.
Blue and red. Let's see. Let me see. Look here.
Give me a player off it.
Hold up. They've won a World Series in the last. What is last year? 2023. Last 5 years, they've won a World Series.
Oh my! I know exactly. The Washington Nationals.
There you go. There it is.
Oh my god!
That gave it away, huh?
Oh yeah.
Was it Juan Soto was on that team, right?
Yes, I think so. But they also had a pretty good it was Strasburg when he was finally healthy. The pitcher all
Scherzer.
It's Scherzer, a couple other dudes. I think they had
Mhm.
Soto. They had the other
Soto
guy.
was, yeah.
Oh,
The best part of that year was that's the year Bryce Harper went to the Phillies
yep.
and Washington played for the World Series and Harper got bounced
Yep.
out of playoffs. So the Nationals, 66.5 wins
Man.
is what Vegas was projecting.
Not
So
bad.
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, real quick. Sorry, last thing. I got stat wise, projection wise.
Mhm.
Top 5 to win a World Series
This year,
this year. The odds.
I would assume it's going to be similar to the top 5 win percentage. All right. So obviously, number one is probably going to be Dodgers.
Yep, 320 to 1.
Okay. I'm going to assume the Braves will be up there.
450 to 1.
Okay. Astros.
700 to 1.
These are all 3 of these have been top 5 so far, right?
Dodgers 1, Braves 2, Astros 3. So you said them in order so far.
Wow. Look at that. All right. Let's see if I can continue this trend. 4. This is not going to come in at number 4.
Just say it.
Baltimore.
They are top 5, but they're tied for the number 5 spot at 1,400
Again.
to 1.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to say it because it happened last time. But at 4, is it the Yankees?
900 to 1.
Yep. Now, I feel unless they're absolutely awful coming into the season, I always feel that the Yankees people always put them up there. So just in case they do put it together, people can say like, "Hey,
we had it."
Yeah,
so who's the other team tied with Baltimore at 1,400 to 1? At plus 1,400.
Phillies,
Not the Phillies. They're at 1,500.
the Rays,
The Rays are at 3,000.
oh nice, and the Diamondbacks,
At 4,000.
damn it, no.
It's a team I hate.
Oh,
Despise.
the Rangers.
They're at 1,400 to 1.
Yeah,
Plus 1,400.
the other team tied with Baltimore.
The other team in Texas. The other team. The other Texas team.
Yeah.
So yeah. So in the bottom 5, I'll just to save our listeners some
some
yelling.
quiet time.
So the top 2 teams tied for the worst odds at 50,000 to 1. 50 plus 50,000. So you bet $100, you can win $50,000.
Right.
Which are the Rockies and the Athletics to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Next one is the White Sox at 250,000 plus 250,000 The Nationals at 250,000, and the last the bottom five is the Pirates at 200,000.
Hmm. Interesting. I would put money down that the Dodgers don't win the World Series.
Do that.
I know they're loaded, but
I wouldn't hate it. I'll be honest with you.
yeah,
I would be. I've said it before in this podcast. I hope like the Padres or the D-backs win that division.
yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like just based off the title odds of the World Series, out of the top six that we named, even though the last two are tied for fifth, if you will, four of them come from the American League, and two of them are coming from NL, so the National.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like the National League is a two. It'll be almost like a two
Two
horse
horse
race,
race.
where
Yeah,
the AL seems a little bit more open. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, because I've been, and I don't know if you have. I've been playing a ton of MLB the Show the last like 3 days,
yeah,
3 or 4 days. I've played. Oh my gosh, dude! I've played a lot of MLB the Show. Big fan of MLB the Show.
yeah,
I
absolutely,
think
great.
I think it's one of the honestly I think it's one of the better sports video games they make nowadays. You know,
I would agree with that. It's definitely a fun game to play
the
compared to
I
Madden. Or,
wish I wish I wish Madden would do something like Diamond Dynasty
yeah,
on there with what which they tried to with the Ultimate Team, but it's just I don't know. It's just Diamond Dynasty. Just what's it just feels like
this is better.
it is. It's like when you get a 90 plus overall card for the first time,
Yeah,
it's just different.
all right.
You know,
Yeah, I
you
was.
kn- you may not be very good, but it just that 90 overall may give you the extra little oomph you can just to hit the ball.
Yeah, I've never really got into all that stuff with Madden or the show. I was just more into your typical let's play franchise mode or whatever the case may be, play the season, uh, all that kind of stuff. Which I always enjoyed more the MLB playing. It does take a long time to get through, but it's fun to play baseball. I remember my buddy and I when I lived in Lubbock, we did an MLB show. Like we did a season mode, and at the beginning, he and I played together. Me and two players doing it. Then it got to the point where he'd probably play a couple games by himself. I would play a couple by myself, all that kind of stuff. It's fun. It was enjoyable compared, to, especially nowadays compared to Madden. I never really was interested in the NBA stuff. Uh,
I'll play what 2K a
yeah,
little bit, but
yeah,
not just a ton.
me neither. And then of course, growing up, I played FIFA a lot. You know what I mean?
See,
Like, but
that's one
nowadays I
sports
don't.
field game I've never played. I've heard it's really good. I've heard FIFA's really good.
It it's kind of got to the point. I got pushed out of it in college because that's all they did was play it. It got to the point where it kind of like it. I don't know how to say it, like, but
It's the
like,
same. It's kind of like Madden. It's just kind of the same game rebranded.
yeah, same thing. And then
New skin on it, and they
yeah,
just added the next year.
yeah, all that. No, I remember growing up, like being, you know, middle school and stuff like that. And again, like when I would play sports games, like I was always more invested in. It's like playing other games, like when they have campaigns. Like I was always been invested in the season mode, or if they had like some type of superstar mode where you could create a player and have that journey from like maybe a high school kid or a whatever, and you can make your way up to the big leagues. You know what I mean? Like that was one thing that I believe it was with the last college football game where you could have your superstar guy and you start him off in high school and you kind of have that
Yeah,
customization, and then you get to go through the
Hmm.
recruitment process, whatever.
You have you play 4 games to go win a state championship game to go win
Yeah,
the state championship,
and then
and
you
you're
get to
getting
have,
recruited.
and then you got to go play college football and do all that stuff. I like modes like that where it was the build a
You work.
superstar or
Mhm.
just the season mode itself. You know what I mean? Where you just manage a team.
You work your way through the depth chart,
Yes.
earning playing time.
Yeah. Those like because I think the NFL had something like that. It might still have it. I don't know.
Well, the coolest thing I thought with between the NCAA game and Madden is you could go high school, go all the way through college, win the Heisman, do all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Then declare for the NFL draft, then upload your player from the NCAA to
Yes.
Madden, and he could be your superstar, Madden superstar.
Yeah.
And now you can go the superstar mode and Madden with the same guy you had
Yep.
through high school.
Yep. That was a really cool feature of those games collaborate with each other to allow that.
Yeah. What I'm excited about with this NCAA game, man, is I was reading on Twitter that it will be the first game that will actually use the new systems like to their fullest.
Yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
Because they were saying the Madden, all that stuff, the last few years have been kind of hogtied with the old system, using the old system stuff, and
Yeah.
NCAA would be the first game, EA game, to use the new, basically the whole system to its full potential.
That's good. And I feel like sports games can kind of go through maybe a couple years of having the same mechanics, if you will, how
Mm-hmm.
they're structured and how the game plays. But then you can, once technology kind of advances a little bit or whatever, then you can kind of spruce it up. But I feel like when they tried to do it yearly, it kind of backfired.
What I really liked was what was it called, the with like the NCAA games is you know they would introduce a new way of doing something,
Yeah,
you know before Madden a lot
right.
of times.
Like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So obviously, I'm sure a lot of people are excited. I believe it comes out this summer. College football.
Yes.
Hopefully, I just hope that because I'll be honest, I haven't really played with my console, video game console,
Oh, I'm
in
aware.
a long time.
I'm
Uh,
well aware.
I just haven't like I've kind of there's been a couple of games where I've like, all right, I'm gonna get back into it, but I could just never. It's like me going back to the weight room. It's like once you kind of fall off the saddle, it's hard to get back on. But I've also
Right.
I've also been in the rut too, where I will click on Netflix or Disney Plus or Hulu, whatever the case may be, and spend an hour or so, combing their libraries, put stuff in my favorites list, and then not watching nothing. So, uh,
Oh, speaking of streaming, House of the Dragon
yeah, great show.
comes out in June, season
Yep,
2.
I can't wait.
Super excited.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Super excited. I need to rewatch season 1 in
Yeah.
preparation
Yes.
for season 2.
Yeah. I have it. Maybe you can probably go back and watch it. I think I have a pretty good idea what. But
I
uh,
started watching today.
mhm,
Um it's gonna sound weird. Like I'll get on these like kicks of like the old like Disney movies. So I'll get on Disney Plus and watch The Three Musketeers with like Charlie Sheen
oh yeah.
and gosh, what's I can never remember the other guy's name. Anyway, doing that. X-Men 97,
Oh, I need to start watching that.
dude, bro. Oh, I need to watch, but yes, X-Men 97, very very good.
Okay,
Very.
hold the hold it down real quick. I'll be right back.
I yes. So like I said, X-Men 97 is very good. It's I've kind of picked up where the 90s X-Men dropped off, and it was very good, and just I've enjoyed that, and just just watching these movies, trying to find something to watch, and that's the kind of being the biggest thing with me. If I'm not watching sports, I'm watching these wonderful movies here. Um, so and I'm just babbling right now until Josh gets back because doing this by yourself is not very fun. It's tough sometimes. Um, so the kind of going backtracking here, the Phillies are 1,500, Blue Jays are 1,800, Manners Twins are 2,000, Rays are 3,000. Who else here? Padres are plus 5,000. The Reds are plus 5,500. Guardians are plus 6,000. Red Sox plus 6,000. So there's a lot of teams right there. Hey, man.
Good. Hey, how's it going? You hold it
Yeah.
down all right?
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. I hate when it's just the two of us and someone has to leave and you're just kind of like, oh,
Hey, usually I'll just start rambling on about something, whatever
oh,
we're talking about or whatever. So,
oh yeah,
but it is
100%.
what it is. Sometimes duty calls.
Dude, yeah, 100%, dude.
But yeah.
But
Anyways, when you're talking about, we do our little wind down here for our show, but like obviously the show. So like obviously you're talking about the X Men '97. Haven't started it. Heard a lot of good things, so I'm excited for
dude,
that.
it's so good. What I've liked too is recently too is like Disney Plus has kind of integrated Hulu
That's what my
into it now.
I've heard that.
And so now you have all your like Hulu stuff, like FX's Shogun is on Disney Plus.
That's the new one they just came out with, right?
Yeah, that's a new series. Have not watched a single episode yet.
It looks kind of
There are 6 episodes in so far.
looks kind of. That was one that I kept seeing ads for. I'm like, okay, maybe I can get into that one. Um,
Right.
recently, trying to think of recent shows I've watched. The biggest one I've watched recently was Halo, which if you haven't watched it, you're a big Halo guy.
I like Halo. I enjoyed it. I could not get into. I tried watching the first season,
Yeah,
and I couldn't
it's
just
definitely
I couldn't get into it just because
yeah.
it
Let's
just it doesn't follow the source material
yes,
very well.
yes,
And when I think of a Halo, like anything, I want it to follow the source. Tell original story, but follow the freaking source material.
yeah. So
Master Chief, I'm going to take off my helmet just cause.
yeah, like oh, we won't try to provide too many
Oh my
spoilers for
gosh!
people that haven't watched it, if you decide to watch it or not. So I would say season two is way better than season one. Okay, that's my opinion. Uh, but yes, I've had a lot of the same thoughts as you watching season one in terms of how they went about it, how it's completely different from the canon of the video game.
Mm-hmm.
When I kind of saw all that stuff play out, it did kind of dampered my the rest of what I had thought the show would be.
Mm-hmm.
But it did okay in its own little realm in terms of what it was, the story it was trying to tell. It was okay, you know what I mean. Good enough for me to continue watching. Like I said, season two is way better. Still has to deal with some of the same things as season one in terms of the story, the armorlessness
Right.
less of the chief, master chief, and stuff like that, but better in my opinion overall. Like when I remember watching the first episode, and you see them come, and there's his little group, and it goes back and forth between like first person and third person or whatever, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my god, this is my mind. I'm like a little kid again. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like the
Now,
first person and all this stuff, and then you never see it again.
I did like what they did with the Covenant. I thought they did a pretty good job
Yes,
of representing the Covenant, and
I agree.
you got to see every member of the Covenant,
Yeah,
and so which again thought it was
I
thought
thought
it
they
was
did a just like what you said. I thought they did a great job of bringing that to the screen, right? In terms of their representation, what they looked like, the size of them, and of
mm-hmm,
course the story in the TV show is like the very early onset of the not the connection, but the conflict between the humans and the Covenant, right? Not fully what it is, kind of like in the video games, but there's definitely a difference compared to when it's just regular humans fighting them, and then when Master Chief gets there, there's it goes from oh they're fucked to now Master Chief is fucking up people. You know what I mean? Kind of like how we would do the video game. You know? But I thought they did a really good job. Uh, but I felt like they could introduce more of those characters throughout the show. It was always just the elites that were shown, which,
mm-hmm.
to be fair, they're pretty dope. But you don't really see much of the grunts, which in the video games kind of provided some comedic relief, if you will. Uh, I thought the brutes. I don't know if you got that far to see some of them, but
I'll be honest with you, where I stopped after they picked up that girl from the Covenant.
okay. So you probably
I didn't finish it after that. After
yeah.
that, it was like
Just push through it.
episode 4 or 5, 4
Just
maybe.
I'm just gonna just push through it and then watch season two, and season two will be way better than season one. So, but so obviously you've seen the show. You've seen how much bigger the elites are compared to a normal human, right?
Which
So
is correct, yeah.
yeah, which when you go through and you look up online, they're way bigger than a normal human, right? They stand like 11 feet tall or something like that, something crazy, or
Mhm.
maybe 8 feet, whatever it is. But when they throw a brute on the screen, when I say those motherfuckers are huge, they're huge on
Right.
screen. You know what I mean? I think it's towards the end of season one, then maybe one scene in season two. That guy has a warhammer, if you remember that, or whatever
Mhm.
they call it. So, but overall, it could have been a lot worse. Probably could have been better if they stayed closer to source material, but not totally a disaster. Whatnot. So, been watching that. Uh, two, maybe 2 weekends ago, I went on a whole John Wick binge. Watched
Oh,
the first one,
that's
second one,
that's
third
such a good
one,
series just to
because I hadn't seen the fourth one yet, right? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna
oh.
start all over. I'm gonna watch all two, one, two, and three because they were on Netflix. Watched
Mhm.
all three, and then found the fourth one, streamed it.
So
It's
good.
great. What a great few days to watch those movies. Fantastic.
So good, man.
And that was coming
Um
off of watching everything Lord of the Rings.
Right. I'm gonna watch, and I may watch this once we get off our podcast. Is the new Roadhouse movie with
Oh,
Jake Gyllenhaal
it's
and
good.
Conor McGregor?
It's now. I will say this: I have not seen the original,
I haven't
so
either.
I can't say compare. Whatever. But watching the new one, because there was a coach on staff that's like, "Hey, watch it. It's good." Da, da, da. And I was like, all right, sure, I'll watch it. So I
I'm a big fan of Conor McGregor, and anything he does,
yeah,
I'm usually
he
like I'm a
he has
sucker for.
he like his role and how he partakes it throughout a movie is like, all right, if you're gonna put him in a movie, like this is the type of role he needs to be. Like that's how well he does.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like some crazy other trucker that's gonna come in and mess stuff up. That's him. It's a good movie. It's entertaining. It's not over the top or anything like that. There's not too much of a love story that they try to bog you down with. It's just a simple context, simple story. It's pretty good. I enjoyed watching.
I'm looking like I don't watch much Amazon Prime stuff anyway, but like looking through it, I think the last Amazon Prime. Oh, they have that. The
What's that?
last Amazon Prime was Reacher. Was the
Mhm.
last show I watched Amazon Prime.
Great show.
Oh yeah, 100%. They have Blue Mountain State,
Ooh,
all 3 seasons.
it's another good show.
Big
Now,
fan of Blue
what's
Mountain State.
crazy too, speaking of that, is like when you go through and like sometimes when you hover over it, whatever, or if you see random clips on social media of like Blue Mountain State and you see Alan Richardson as the character of Thad Castle at that time.
Skinny he was.
Yeah, but not only that, but like the character and how he played it, and then you
Yeah.
fast forward and you watch Reacher and you've seen one, he's become a giant, but then two, the way he plays that role compared to Thad, it's just
Oh
it's
yeah.
almost like two different people. You know what I mean?
Another good series if you're wanting to watch something is Suits on Netflix.
Mhm.
It's
Which
about this
which one?
lawyer. Suits.
Oh, Suit. I've seen it. Fantastic show.
Suits is really good.
Fantastic.
I get,
Um,
and again, I got it on my TikTok one time. Then I
mhm.
said, you know what? I'm just start watching them, thinking, oh gosh, this is really good. You know, like I'm just kind of going through my Netflix right now.
Suits is a
But
great show. I watched it.
Tacoma FD, really funny,
Have that on my list. I've heard it's good.
dude. It is hilarious. If you like Super Troopers
Yeah.
and like Beer Fest and those type of movies, you'll like Tacoma FD. Now it's a little more tame than like Super Troopers or Beer Fest because it's on TV, but really good still. Really still really good. Big fan.
I've heard it's been a good show. It's basically some of the same characters from Super Troopers are
Yeah, it's the
in it.
two main ones, the
Yeah.
Farva and
The other, it's like the short white guy.
the other guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's tons of good stuff out there. Obviously, if you have your own, for our listeners, if you have your own opinions or shows suggestions for us, put them down in the comments on our YouTube channel, and we will look at them. Right, in terms of hey, let's give this a shot, or oh, I've already seen that. Let's discuss it. Whatever the case may be, you can hit us up on the
Yeah,
X, right?
because
Feel free there.
you know, we're not just tied down to sports. We
No, no,
are,
no. This and that was one of the things. Like, okay, so I'm sure we've talked about it plenty of times on this show, but when we first started to formulate the idea of like, hey, let's do a podcast show, right? It was kind of one of those things where you know we had previously listened to different shows here and there. I was kind of more of like a big Pat McAfee guy early on. Cletus watched, had listened to some, Jack had listened to some, Cobbs, all this stuff. And, we just kind of got to the point where, we just started talking about it. And then we had a boys' weekend where, we drank a lot of water and played golf and all that kind of stuff that we were like, all right, let's do this. Remember, we just started writing down topics that we would talk about, questions.
hell,
You know what I mean? Like we literally just were like, all right, let's talk about this. What about this? What about that? Now, and of course, most of it was sports, right? Sports trivia, talking about different things, da da da. But it also bled into movies, music, TV shows, whatever. So our podcast, the DBAB podcast, is yeah, majority of the time we talk about sports because we are all involved in some type of sport. Obviously, we all coach football. Besides Adam, he's a big football watcher, uh, and we've all previously at one point or not have coached a sport like basketball or baseball or soccer or track or powerlifting. You know what I mean? So we're so involved with these sports and we're all big sports fanatics. So of course we're going to talk about what goes on in NFL, in college football, NBA, college basketball, MLB, college baseball. I talk about soccer stuff, all the in hockey we talk about go Stars, right? Um,
Go Stars.
all that kind of stuff. So of course we're going to talk about sports. We're dudes. We love sports. We talk about sports, right? It's kind of like the Buffalo Wild Wings commercial. Like this is not a sports bar; it's a sports podcast, whatever. But we box out really well. If you haven't seen that commercial yet, but we
That's
also
a
talk
pretty good
about
one.
movies. Yeah, we talk about movies. We're all big movie buffs, fanatics. Go to the movie theaters quite a bit, collectively as a group. We like to watch TV shows. We also love music. So we talk about everything that we like to do. So
Speaking of
even food.
movies, when are you going to see? Are you going to see that tonight?
I'm gonna try to go up there tonight. Yes, here in my town, and I'm gonna try to go see the new Godzilla and Kong movie at 8 o'clock. So
I almost went today to go see it, and I just didn't pull the trigger.
should have pulled it. So
Yeah, I
I'm
should have.
usually I will pay for my tickets online and stuff like that, but I know some people that I teach, right? Not to give out secrets that work there. So I'm gonna try to see if I can walk in and see what can happen. Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
uh, what? So hopefully it doesn't bite me in the butt. That like nowadays when you go buy tickets, you got to pick your seat. You know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. So
hmm
sometimes I'm hoping it doesn't backfire tonight in terms of showing up and being
Well,
like, oh, the only seat you can get is out on an aisle or something.
right. I know when I went to look at seats for today to watch it, and it was probably three quarters bought already.
Yeah.
Half to three quarters of the showings I've looked at were sold already. So
Yeah.
is this the first weekend?
Yes.
Is this opening weekend?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Came
sense
out
though.
the 28th, I believe.
Did it
So,
really?
mhm.
That's dude. No, no. Oh, dude. Tomorrow's April. You know that
Yep. Already.
tomorrow is freaking April, bro.
I know it's going by. Now, the
And
only thing that is kind of makes me not ready for April is that we transitioned back from a 4 day week to now we're going to a 5 day week. So
oh,
I know.
here's I'll say this. I'm pretty excited about this one. We are after April. Every Friday in May
Mhm.
will be a staff development day. No
Okay.
kids. So we'll have a 4 day week every Friday in May, which because we've racked up so many hours or minutes, and so our soup is like, you know what? Every Friday in May will be a staff development day. No kids. Be good to go. I'm going down to Ozona the May 17th.
Okay.
I'm driving down there in the morning and stay in a hotel for the day, then driving back that Saturday, I think. I'm gonna go to graduation
Okay. There
in
you go.
Ozona. You know that group. That's this year's senior class. I had a really good relationship with a lot of them,
Not a
and
bad idea.
so
Like
um
I wouldn't mind doing that for going down to Houston. Um, but I would say probably the connection that you have with this current seniors class was the connection I had with last year's senior class at
mhm.
my previous institute there at Sealy. So you know what I mean? Because they were freshmen being sophomores when I got there. So those 3 years with them. So
Mhm.
it's not a bad idea to go down there. I've looked up to see.
Yeah, and it just worked out where they graduate because our principal here in Roseville is really big on, and he says it too. Is I don't ask. He doesn't ask us to do very much, but one thing he requires us to be at is graduation. Which this is the first school I've ever been at where the principal said you have to be at graduation. Granted, I usually go anyway, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, sure. Like it's always one of those things. Like you talk to some other people they're like, I don't want to go to it. I want to get away and stuff. Especially when you teach the kids, those senior kids all year. It's kind of like your last little, not really goodbye. Kind of be there to see them graduate. For some of them, you are going to be like, hey, it sucked. I'm going to miss you. But other ones, you're just ready to be like, all right, you know, see ya.
Hurry, get your diploma. Let's go.
Let's go.
No take backs.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Like to go and watch them, or to go and see them on that day, and probably for the last time. You know what I mean? It can be fun, and special.
Oh yeah.
So, I just don't
Oh
want to
yeah.
work it.
Yeah.
I've already worked
I'm.
prom, so hopefully it gets me out of graduation. So
Yeah. I do not have to deal with prom. I'm not a sponsor of anybody, so
that's nice because I was.
oh,
So
100%.
we just had ours this past Friday. On Good Friday was ours. It wasn't too bad. You know what I mean? Like, in hindsight, after a while, it wasn't terrible. But I did not find out about it until maybe a week and a half before,
That
when we got
sucks.
an email saying like, "Hey, you're part of prom committee," da 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 da, da, all this kind of stuff, and I was like, "All right, this is news to me," and I wasn't the only one. You know what I mean? But
Was
so
not
anyway,
communicated.
yeah, it was not all that kind of stuff, but
Don't you love when that happens?
yeah, it was. But end of the day, it was basically nice and easy. Most of the legwork had already been done. Uh,
You just got to be there and just
got to be
chaperone.
there, chaperone. It's for 3.5 hours. At first, it kind of felt long, but then next thing you know, you turn around, it's like, oh, it's already 10:15. We're almost done. And of course, most of the kids left before the end of the night, so
Oh yeah.
cleanup wasn't that bad. So, all in all, it wasn't totally terrible, but it did take away Friday from family time, so, especially when my mom was
Right.
in town. But
Yes,
it is
sir.
what it is. Anywho,
I,
um, obviously, for our listeners, it's just you've just been chilling with Cletus and I. So hopefully you've enjoyed it, right? It's almost like you've been listening to another podcast show with just two dudes on it, but they're probably way more entertaining than us. Um,
100%.
uh, which I enjoy their podcast. So shout out to the Kelsey brothers and the New Heights podcast. One day we'll be there. You know what I mean? In terms of
Uh,
popularity, and maybe we can just have this be our main thing, whatever. But anyway, so Cletus and I talked to you about March Madness. We talked a little about NFL rule change stuff like that. Opening of MLB and baseball coming back. All that fun stuff. We dived into some movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you're enjoyed, listeners. So give us your feedback, right, on YouTube, or even hit us up on the X, aka Twitter, or if you know us personally, just send us a text, right, or whatever the case
yeah.
may be. Or if you work with one of us, just let us know in person, right, in terms of what you think of everything going on here on the DBAB podcast. Remember to always be the light out there in this world. Um, I always tell kids that, and they're kind of sometimes they ask me, "Oh, coach, what does that mean?" And I'm like, just basically, just go out there and be a good person, right? Be positive, do the right things. Don't be an a hole. Uh, don't try to bring negative vibes or publicity to you or your team or whatever the case may be. Just go out there and be good people. So, uh, like I said, just go out there, be the light, right? Jack's always saying that we try to uphold every single day. Cletus, enjoy the rest of your Easter Sunday, my man. Enjoy as we are now entering into the last 2 months of school. Uh,
Dude, like
37 days left, I believe, for
we
us
have
here. So,
we have 5. The 6 weeks ends Friday for us, and we have 20. I think we're at, shoot, man. You said 37 for y'all?
yeah, those are just school days, not including, uh, yeah, just
Yeah, I think we're like at 39 or 30 something. We get out the 24th, or 24th is graduation.
I got you. It's like a Thursday.
No, that Friday. 20. I'm sorry. Yeah, 24th that Friday.
Ours is somewhere similar to that.
Yeah, Arizona's the 17th. So we're like I said, I'm driving down the 17th to
It's not
Arizona.
bad.
Watch
That's
that.
good.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's good. So, obviously, I'm sure we'll talk before then. So
Oh yeah.
whatnot.
Hopefully
But
we can. I don't know. When y'all's trap meet, real quick. I know there's
uh,
district meets this week.
yeah, we have district this week in Dublin on the 3rd and 4th. It's coming. So the Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay, we're going 4th and 5th.
Where y'all have to go?
Abernathy.
It's not
No, they got really good setup, and it's one of those things where because Cooper Liberty got thrown into our district,
Yeah,
middle of alignment, we had 7 teams, and now we have 8, and Abernathy's the only one with the 8-lane track.
I got you.
So they get to work it. Are you timing?
I have not been told anything yet in terms of
Have y'all got an email about
timings.
what y'all are doing
No,
work wise?
not that I know of. No,
Okay, fair
maybe
enough.
tomorrow I'll find out. But
Yeah, usually you work the
yeah,
district trap meet. You're doing something,
right.
either time and picking, helping run a field event off, something.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, I have not heard nothing yet. Our boy To has not sent out nothing yet that I've seen. So uh, we shall see.
Yeah,
Maybe tomorrow
we're
we'll find out some more information.
the junior high trap. We had our district junior high trap meet last week, and so did that. So we got a little preview of what we're doing for the this high school one. So I'll be timing number 4.
Okay.
Get my
Not
little
bad.
clicker and
Not bad.
duh, be timing that, and so be good, man.
Yes, sir. Well, anyways, good luck to the Eagles and their district track meet this week.
Good
Same
luck to
thing
y'all this
to
week as well.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna try to do our best to get as many kids out to the next round as possible. So remember, all you gotta do is run fast, turn left, jump high, throw far. About it, right?
Jump far,
Or jump far.
jump far, and jump high.
Yeah, we don't have any pole birds, so we don't got to worry about jumping over them. Well, we got some.
High jumper, man.
Yeah, not a
High
pole. We
jump is
don't have
still
no.
high.
Yeah, we don't got no pole vaulters here in
You
our
got to worry about high
city.
jump.
Yeah, it's high. All right, my man. Appreciate you for being on. As always, you're reliable and consistent. Obviously, Jack is was not even at home, right? He went to go watch Duke and NC State. So shout out to the Garcias. Also,
And
shout out to Benny Blaze Cobbs. I'm sure he was enjoying family time. Obviously, their little ones are first Easter, so shout out to the Cobbs, of course. Adam, shout out to Adam doing logistics as always. So, but without further ado, this has been the DBAB podcast. Remember, you can find us anywhere podcasts can be found, and always, always, always remember to be the peace and love, baby.